Hey everybody, what's going on? Boost Auto here. Today we're going to be installing our Retrofit S-Series cab lights on this 23 plus Ford Superduty truck. Let's get into it.
Introducing our S-Series cab lights by Boost Auto. Offered with a wide variety of customizable options, these cab lights are sure to set your build apart from the rest, enhance visibility, and add a premium touch to your vehicle's appearance with our exclusive features. Light up the night with Boost Auto's crisp white or sleek amber running lights that will leave your build looking sharp. You can also option for our jaw-dropping startup sequence, adding personality to your vehicle from the moment you turn the key. Plus, we've developed groundbreaking technology with our S-Series module that enables turn signal functionality without the need to run extra wires up to the cab lights. Get them in standard flashing signal or option for the premium sequential signal where the lights swipe instead of flash. The best part is both styles are available in switchback, so they'll fit right in with the rest of the Boost Auto products on your truck. Our S-Series cab lights' innovative construction means you'll get a watertight seal without the need of adhesives or sealants. Plus, with our precision engineering, our cab lights will fit flush perfectly, matching the curvature of your vehicle's roof. A couple of things to note before we get into the install. First, the procedure outlined in this video is for 23 and newer Ford Superduty trucks that did not come with factory cab lights. If your vehicle did come with cab lights and you're looking to upgrade, or your vehicle is a different year range, head on over to boostauto.com for the latest in fitment and availability and to purchase all we have to offer.
One of the first things we're going to do is move our front seats forward, which is going to give us access to a panel that we're going to be taking off in the future. Starting on the passenger side of the engine bay, we're going to disconnect our negative terminal on the primary battery using a 10mm socket. And if you've got an auxiliary battery, go ahead and disconnect that on the driver's side of the engine bay. We're going to remove this panel that's above the rear view mirror using a trim tool. Disconnect any electrical connectors that are coming from the headliner, pushing down on their respective tabs. Starting on the passenger side of the vehicle, we're going to remove the sun visor. So let's disconnect it from its mounting point over here. Make sure you can get access to this clip right here. Using a trim tool, pop the cover off of this mounting point here.
Then remove the 7mm bolt underneath.
So now you need to maneuver the visor so it can unhook from its location in the headliner, and then disconnect the electrical connector, remove the sun visor. Now we have the sun visor mount on the other side here, another 7mm bolt to remove. Next we're going to be removing this panel right here. I'm going to use a pick tool to remove the cover, which will expose two 10mm bolts. Now we're going to remove these two 10mm bolts. All right, now gently pull back to detach it. Lift up and backwards.
If you have a connector, disconnect it, then remove the A-pillar cover.
All right, now we're at this B-pillar cover. What we need to do is take off a small cover over the seatbelt. We're going to wrap the seatbelt around the headrest to prevent it from retracting itself. Using a T50 torque socket, we're going to remove this bolt holding the seatbelt in. Now we're going to pull back in the top part of this lower panel. And using a trim tool, we're going to remove this upper panel. Now repeat those steps on the driver's side of the vehicle. One of the last things we're going to do before dropping the headliner is peel back this weather stripping. We're going to do it on both the front and rear doors. So when you order your Retrofit S-Series cab lights, you're gonna get this template. This template comes in 3 different pieces, one for the middle and 2 for the other sides of the roof. They're also going to have your drilling points for every single cab light that you're going to be installing. You should first cut along these dotted lines to separate the paper into 3 pieces. Once that's done, you can cut out your templates individually by cutting along the solid lines. And then after that, make sure you make your relief cuts with the dotted lines on the templates themselves.
Go ahead and cut the template into its 3 sections, following the dotted lines. Next, cut out the individual templates, being careful to cut on the solid line, ensuring you have accurate placement of the template and the cab lights. Because the roof has a curve, we added relief cuts on all the template pieces. Go ahead and cut on those lines to ensure that the templates lay flat.
Now we're going to use a tape measure to help us find the center line of our roof, and then draw a line to help identify it.
With the tape measure across the roof, use a piece of tape and a marker or pen to mark the center of the roof. Now take the center template and line up the bottom arrow with the mark you made on the tape. Then tape down the template, making sure it lays as flat as possible.
So this template, once again, is going to fit along with the contours of the roof.
When placing the outside templates, make sure that both outside edges are lined up with the front and outside of the roof. With the driver's side template secure, move on to the passenger side.
Now we're going to use a center punch to mark our pilot holes.
Now follow the template and center punch all the pilot hole locations across the roof to make them easier to drill.
Now we're going to drill our pilot holes with a 1/8 inch drill bit.
Follow the template and drill out all the hole locations across the 3 template pieces. Continue to drill the remaining pilot holes. With all the pilot holes drilled, we can now remove the template. Before you continue drilling, we recommend putting a cloth or blanket between the headliner and the roof.
So before we continue drilling, we're going to lay down some painter's tape over our holes to protect the paint on the roof.
Now go ahead and cover the remaining pilot holes with painter's tape. Then to make identifying the pilot holes easier for drilling, use the center punch or a pick tool to poke a hole in the tape where the pilot holes are. Then continue across the rest of the roof.
Now we're going to drill our 1/4 inch mounting holes.
The mounting holes are the front and rear holes for each light location. Each one of these holes should be drilled out to a 1/4 inch. Then continue across the rest of the roof.
Now we're going to drill our 5/8 center holes.
We're using a step bit to drill the 5/8 inch center holes. It's important that you use a step bit and not a regular drill bit to ensure the holes are drilled cleanly and correctly.
All right, now we're going to peel all of our tape back that was covering the holes we just drilled.
Before you peel the tape, clear the roof of any metal shavings and debris. And then lastly, wipe down the surface of the roof to clear it of any dirt and debris before we mount the cab lights.
So now that our holes are drilled, we're going to move on to installing our S-Series Retrofit cab lights onto this truck.
The cab lights themselves are numbered 1 through 5. We're going to start with number 1 on the passenger side and work our way over to number 5 on the driver's side.
And then you're also going to have this retrofit harness, which will plug in to the cab lights accordingly and end up towards the passenger side of the vehicle.
Now starting on the passenger side, install the cab lights, starting with number 1.
Now we're going to use an 8mm wrench to tighten down these nuts.
Continue to secure the cab lights, making sure not to over-tighten them.
After the cab lights are now installed, we're going to take our retrofit harness and begin to plug it in. We're going to start on the driver's side with the end that has a connector you're going to see an end with bare wires. This will end up on the passenger side of the vehicle. So once again, we're going to start with the side with the connector on the driver's side of the vehicle.
With the cab lights plugged in, we can start running the harness down the A-pillar to the side panel on the dashboard, securing it as we go.
All right, so the retrofit harness is routed down the A-pillar. Now we're going to need to route it down towards the BCM. We're going to remove this side panel here to do that. In order to remove this panel, you're going to use a trim tool.
Next, use a trim tool to remove the sill plate and unplug any connectors if they're present. Next, we're going to remove the kick panel by first removing the access panel, then the kick panel itself by lifting up and releasing the trim clips.
So to give us better access to the BCM, we're going to remove this blower motor cover. We have 3 push pins that we're going to pry off. And you're just going to have this connector that you need to disengage. I've got our S-Series module in my hands right now. Let's talk about the wires that are coming out of this. So the retrofit harness that you routed down your A-pillar is going to connect to the blue and black wires that you see here. And then on this end, we've got 2 more connectors. One's going to have a 4-pin harness. This is your function control, or your lighting function control that will be plugging into this. And this 2-pin harness is going to be the power control for your module. And then we're going to find a home for this. We're going to place it right here underneath that side panel that we just removed. Since I'm going to be placing the module right about here, I'm going to take my retrofit harness, cut it to length right about here.
After cutting the harness to length, cut back the tape and strip both wires. Next, connect the retrofit harness to the module connecting the blue to blue and black to black wires via the attached butt connectors. Then heat shrink the butt connectors. It's now time to find the S-Series module a permanent home. We suggest tucking it back into the side panel on the dashboard and securing it in place for easy access. You can now go ahead and plug in the 4-pin harness from your kit into the module.
So our tapping locations are going to be on this large black connector with this white latch that you see here.
To disengage the connector, push in the tab above the white latch. Then lift the latch until it locks in the up position and pull out the connector.
In order to get better access to our wires, we need to cut this zip tie on the back side right here.
To remove the connector cover, push in and up on this tab on the top of the connector and the lid will lift off.
I'm going to cut back some of this tape right here so I have better access to the wires.
The first 2 wires we are tapping for are for turn signal functionality. If you optioned for running light only, skip the next 2 steps. Next, we're going to be tapping to pin 31. Looking at the connector with the white latch on the left, pin 31 is in the top row 4 pins from the right. Go ahead and install a red T-tap onto this wire. Now, take the red and green wire, cut it to length, strip it back, and crimp on a spade terminal. Then connect it to the T-tap we just installed. We're going to be tapping to pin 6. Looking at the connector with the white latch on the left, pin 6 is in the first row, 6 pins from the right. Go ahead and install a red T-tap onto this wire. Now take the red and blue wire, cut it to length, strip it back, and crimp on a spade terminal. Then connect it to the T-tap we just installed. Next, we're going to be tapping to pin 11. Looking at the connector with the white latch on the left, pin 11 is in the second row, 2 pins from the right. Go ahead and install a red T-tap onto this wire. Now take the orange wire, cut it to length, strip it back, and crimp on a spade terminal. Then connect it to the T-tap we just installed. Before we can reinstall the connector, we need to reinstall the connector cap. Insert these two tabs on the bottom of the connector first, then press the top half into place until the connector tab clicks. Then resecure the cover with a zip tie. Lastly, reseat the connector and pull the white latch down until it locks into place. You can now go ahead and plug in the 2-pin harness from your kit into the module. We're now going to be moving to this ground stud toward the front of the kick panel. This is where we are going to be grounding the black wire from the 2-pin harness. Now take the black wire, cut it to length, strip it back, and crimp on a ring terminal. Then place the black wire with the ring terminal on the ground stud and resecure it with the nut. Next, tape the red wire to a straightened out metal piece so we can feed it underneath the dash and over to the driver's side. We're going to be tapping to the OBD connector, which is the white connector directly underneath the driver's side dash. To unseat the connector, push in the tabs on each side and pull it back out of the mount. Turn the connector 180 degrees to show the wire side of the connector. We're going to be tapping to pin 16. Pin 16 will be the first wire on the left in the bottom row. Install a red T-tap from the kit onto this wire. Now take the red wire and cut it to length, strip it back, and install the inline fuse from the kit onto the wire via the attached butt connector. Then heat shrink the butt connector. Then install a spade terminal onto the other wire on the inline fuse and plug it into the T-tap we just installed. Lastly, plug the connector back in.
Now with the wire installed, make sure to secure it up and out of the way, out of any moving parts. Back at the passenger side, we're going to install this upper trim panel on the B-pillar.
Now push the lower panel back into place and resecure the seat belt.
I'll put this cover back over this Torx bolt now.
Now go ahead and reinstall the passenger side A-pillar cover. If you have a connector, plug it in first. Then line up the connector tabs on the A-pillar and the cover and snap it back into place. Then reinstall the two 10mm bolts in the handle and replace the cover. Reinstall the sun visor support.
Now we're going to reinstall our sun visor. First things first, reconnect the electrical connector. There is this hook piece that needs to hook on the mounting point towards the rear of the vehicle. As it hooks in, move the visor back towards its forward position. Install your 7mm screw, and now install the cover. All right, let's reinstall our weather stripping. Now repeat those steps on the driver's side of the vehicle.
We can now reconnect your unplugged connectors above the rear view mirror.
And then reinstall this cover over those connectors.
Reconnect the primary battery. If you have a secondary battery, plug that in at this time as well.
All right, that wraps it up for our install on our Retrofit S-Series cab lights on this 23 Plus Super Duty truck. If you like those cab lights, head on over to boostauto.com to check out other parts for your build, like our tow mirror lights or our M2 Luma steps. That's all for now. We'll catch you on the next one.
The products shown in this video and so much more can be purchased on our website at boostauto.com. We're proud to offer a wide variety of products, parts, and accessories for your truck or SUV that will take your build to the next level. To watch videos like this one and to find out about our newest innovative products for your vehicle, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's all for now. We'll catch you on the next one.